First, please welcome Miss Felicia Idarto. Hello, Miss Felicia. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ocha. Hello, everybody. Greetings from Surabaya. Hi, so I'm based in Surabaya right now, okay? It's very cloudy in here, just turned cloudy. So I want to know what's the weather like in your places at the moment. Is it also cloudy or is it the sun is still shining in your place? Can you share with us at this now? Yeah, is it cloudy or is it sunny? Can you answer?
Shiny, madam. Shiny.
Oh, good. So it's sunny, yeah? The sun is shining. Good to know. Is there any other places which is also cloudy, like the one in Surabaya at the moment?
And the participants can unmute themselves too.
I think Miss Isna is raising her hand. Miss Isna, where are you from, Miss Isna?
I'm Isna from Batam, and Batam was so cloudy and also rainy this morning.
Okay, right. It's already raining in there. All right. Okay. So it's good to see so many people participating in our session today. All right. So this is the first time I'm meeting some of you, but I recognize the names that was also here in our session, in my session last month. Okay, because last month we were also talking about assessing, but that was reading and listening. Today, the topic is about writing and speaking. Okay, so good to know some new faces in here. All right. So for the next 2 hours, I will be sharing ideas with you, but it's not only me who will be sharing ideas. I would also like your participation also. I would like your inputs, your ideas so that we can develop together as educators. Okay, right now. So to start with, we are going to do a little polling. All right, we're going to do a little survey. Yeah, Ocha will give you a link in the chat box. Can you please click on the link? And for the first question, I would like to know where you are all from. So from which city you're all participating in. Okay, so if you could take a look at your chat box and see the question.
Yeah, the link is already in the chat box.
Right. Okay, so I will activate the polling. If you see this question in your screen, can you please respond to the question there? Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen first so we know which city you're joining us from. Okay, so I see Yogyakarta, Pekanbaru, Palembang, and Medan. Good. Are there anyone from Surabaya where I'm based? I would like to know. I see Surakarta, but not Surabaya. Okay, let's see. Oh, I see one person saying Surabaya. Yeah, good to know. Can you please wave? Can you please wave if you're from Surabaya? Can you wave? I would like to know who share the same city where I am now. Miss Kori, all right, and Miss Yosia. Okay, hello. Good to know. Right. Yes. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, Ocha earlier said that you all come from 25 cities across Indonesia. That's excellent. Very, very good. Okay, now for the second question in our survey, I would like to ask you something about me, okay? About myself. We've never met each other. You've never seen me. You've never met me in person, but I would like you to take a guess, okay? Let's take a look at the question. Hold on. Okay, so if you see that one, I would like you to guess. Does it show on your screen already? I would like you to guess, how tall do you think I am? You can't really see me in person, but through Zoom. If you're looking at me, how tall do you think I am? Let's take a look, yeah? Am I 150 centimeters? Or am I shorter than 150 centimeters? 160 or even taller than that, okay? See what you think. Okay, I see a lot of responses coming in already. Oh, look at that. It's a tie between 150 and more than 160. Let's see who is correct. Okay, you can see that on the screen. Okay, right. I think a lot of people are guessing that I'm taller than 160 centimeters. You are not exactly right, because I am exactly 160 centimeters. Yeah, I'm not that tall. I am not that tall. I'm only 160 centimeters. Okay. All right. Now the second question. This is still about me. This is about my favorite hobby now. Okay. Let's take a look at the next question. What do you think my hobby is? What do I do? What do I like doing in my spare time? Is it sleeping or reading? Or shopping online? Or even gossiping and watching Korean drama? What do you think? A lot of people think I spend my free time, oh, it's reading now. Okay. It was a tie between reading and shopping online. Yes. Okay, let's see. And you are actually correct. Yeah. I like reading and I spend my time whenever I have the time to read. Okay, well done, everybody. Okay, let's go to the next question. Yeah, let's go to the next question. Now this one, I would like to know your response to this question. Let's take a look. So we've been hearing some news that we will be back offline and not continuing the online session at school. What do you think about it? Are you ready? Are you not sure? Or you want to stay online just like it is now? What do you think? Okay, we can see that from the screen. 50% of you said you're not sure. But 30% says you're ready. Yeah, okay. Okay, and only 12, yeah, about 12% say that they still want to do online schooling. Okay, good to know. Okay, so I think half of you are still not sure. Yeah, if you can see the response in there, half of you are still not sure about going back offline to school, face to face. All right. Okay, and now for the last question before we move on to the materials. Let's take a look at the last question. Can you please respond to this one? Are you ready to start today's session? Is it yes, not sure, or no? What do you think? Okay, right. Good to know that more than 90% says that they are ready to start our session today. Okay, well done, everybody. Good job. Okay, so now that you're all ready, let's begin our session. Yeah? Okay, so I will share my screen now. Okay, so as you know, we will be doing some speaking and writing assessment today. Okay, so what will you obtain through this training? We will try to see the different type of tasks that you can give your students in terms of writing and speaking. So we'll be looking at the sample questions that you can give them. And also, what skills can you give your students to prepare them for writing and speaking tests? Okay. And we will also take a look at how to adapt these assessments to an online environment. Okay, so although we might be going back to offline school soon, but there are still ways that we can incorporate this online platforms into our classes, into our offline classes. Yeah. And lastly, we will not be only talking about the materials, but we will do some practice throughout the session. So I will ask for some volunteers to participate. I will be asking questions, and I would like you to supply me with your ideas also. Okay? All right, so we shall begin, yeah? To begin with, I would like to show you this one. Some of you might already be using books that already has this CEFR level. Okay, this is a Cambridge tests are based on this CEFR level. So if you ask me, why am I using this one throughout my session today? Is that because even though your schools or your class might be using different types of books, might be different types of material, but Cambridge is offering a standardized assessment framework, which is the CEFR in here. So if you know what level your students are, we can make the rubrics, or we can make the tasks for writing and assessment, which can be which can match their current level of English. Okay, so if you see over here, I will be using these terms throughout my session: CAT, PAT, and FCE, but this one is actually the same with the levels of beginner, elementary. So when I say CAT, I'm referring to beginner and elementary level. If I'm talking about PAT, it will be pre-intermediate. And if I'm talking about FCE, that will be intermediate and above level. So you can adjust the levels of your student according to this framework. Okay, and you will have this one in your handout also. So not to worry, you can take a look at that after we finish our session today. Right? Okay, so we shall begin with our first assessment, which is the writing assessment. Okay, to begin with, we're going to do a little bit of a game called Guess That Sound. Okay, because in our first task, I would like you to write an email when you're going on a holiday. Okay, so I will be playing some sounds. Yeah, I'll be playing some sounds that you might hear when you have a holiday. Okay, so you might be having a holiday in the mountains or the beach or in the city center. And the following sounds are the sounds that you might hear during your holiday. Okay, so could you please get your chat box ready, because I would like you to type in the answer in the chat box. Okay, so if you think you know the answer, get ready to type in the chat box, and Ocha will help me see who is the first one to give the answer. Okay, all right, so let's start. Yeah, this is the first sound. Let's see if you can guess.
What is the sound? Okay, we have
Good
the
job.
first answer is from Miss Anna Crisanti.
Okay, well done, Miss Anna. Yeah, these are birds. Birds chirping. So, Miss Anna, can I ask you what kind of holidays? I mean, which place where you can hear birds during your holiday, Miss Anna?
Hello, Miss Anna. You can unmute yourself. Yeah.
In which place you can? In which place you're having a holiday where you can hear birds chirping? In what kind of place?
I think we have a technical issue here because Miss Anna is already unmuted, but we
Oh,
cannot
okay.
hear the sound.
All right. So who's the second person to answer birds?
Okay.
I think it's Mr. Muhammad Nofari.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of place are we looking at, Mr. Muhammad?
I think it's in jungle.
In the jungle, yes. That should be nice. A holiday in the jungle. Okay, good. Let's move on to the second sound. Yeah? Let's move on to the second sound.
Okay, we have some answers. Those answers are bell.
Bells? Is it
And
bells?
then-
Maybe you can try again. Those are not bells.
And
No.
then someone
I'll play-
says glass.
It's not, but I think somebody got it right. It's Miss Peggy, Miss Winaria Peggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Miss Peggy or Miss Winaria, can you please unmute your microphone?
Yeah, hello, Miss.
Hello, Miss.
Hi.
Can you tell me, when you hear the bicycle sound like this, where are you having your holiday?
Somewhere in the countryside, maybe?
Maybe, yes, could be. Good, yes. Bicycle bell, good. All right, let's hear the next sound. Hold on. Not that one, sorry. This is the third one.
Okay, what is this?
Okay, Miss, yeah, I think Miss Winaria Peggy is correct again. So basically, it's not beer actually. It's drink in a can, fizzy drink like Coca-Cola or Sprite. Yes,
Yeah.
opening a can. Good. All right. So, who got the answer? Let me call on
Miss Herna.
Miss. Yes, okay.
The
Miss
first one?
Herna in a can. Okay.
Mhm.
Miss Herna, what is
Yes.
a good time to drink something
Tunggu
out of a
gimana,
can?
Bu?
I think in the evening,
Yeah.
six when we have finished our dinner, then we have our leisure time.
Good. Okay. Yes. Well done. Okay. And the next sound, yeah?
Okay, what is this? Mr. Haditya says oval. And Mr. Dumari says beetle.
Not a beetle, not an owl.
Miss Rolinda, insect sound.
Yeah, can you be more specific?
Miss Lian, cricket.
Yeah, good job, Miss Lian. Right. Okay. So, what's the place of holiday, Miss Lian?
I think I can hear the sound and the voice from the countryside, my grandma's hometown.
Yes, in the countryside, you can still hear the cricket sounds. Okay, well done. Right. So, hopefully, these sounds will get you in the mood for holiday. Okay. Because in our next task, I would like you to read a letter, an email actually. It's from somebody who is having a holiday somewhere. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, so you will read a letter from someone called Cynthia. Okay, so Cynthia is writing a letter to you. I'm taking this one from the English in Mind book. Students Book 1, Unit 8. Okay, about holiday. The topic is about holiday. So the task that you have to do is this. So Cynthia is writing a letter to you, and you're supposed to write back to Cynthia. You're writing an email, a short email, okay? Maybe between 50 to 60 words, all right? You're going to write to Cynthia detailing about this information, okay? In order to do this, so that we can share ideas, so I can see your work and also you can see your other friends' work, we are going to go to Padlet, okay? So Ocha will give you another link in the chat box. If you could click on the link.
Already shared in the chat box.
Okay, thank you, Ocha. So you will go to Padlet and then try to write your answer in the Padlet. Okay, so I'm going to show you that on my screen right now. So if you already access Padlet, you will be able to see this. Yes, right? So here is the question again. So if you can read it again one more time, click on it to make it bigger. You can see that's bigger on your screen. And if you want to write down your response, you can click on the plus symbol at the bottom. Just click on the plus symbol over here and you can start writing your response. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. Please write your response to Cynthia's email. Yeah. Okay. If you have difficulties accessing Padlet, could you please write in the chat box so Ocha will find a way to assist you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I have seen some responses from you already. Good. Yeah. So you can take a look at your friends' answers there also. Okay, so your email does not have to be very long. So maybe about 60 words. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's see if somebody is already finished. All right. Okay, so some of you are starting already. Let's take a look at this. All right. Okay, as you can see in your on my screen over here, I'm using Padlet to get response from all of you. So you might be able to use this one also in your class for online learning, because this way we can check straight away what your students are writing. When they are writing, you can display their answers right here on the screen also. Okay, so it's just like in the class when you go around the classroom and check your students' work. This is similar to that. Some of you might be familiar with Padlet already. Some of you who are not yet familiar with it, maybe you can explore a little bit about that one. There are a lot of tutorials online, of course, about this one. So perhaps you can take a look about this platform. Yeah. Okay, so I am going to call on, let me take a look first. Okay, so someone in here, because there are no names, yeah? There are no names right here. Okay, so if you think you wrote something about Batu and Jatim Part 3, Can you please raise your hand? There's no name in here. So who is it that wrote about Batu and Jatim Part 3? Can you please raise your hand?
You can raise your hand and also,
Mhm.
or
Also-
you can type on the chat box so we can invite you.
Yes. Or you can just unmute your microphone and say hello.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm gonna call on the second person. Hold on. Oh, here. It seems to be a nice holiday. Who had a holiday in Seoul last month with his or her mom? Who had a holiday in Seoul? Can you please raise your hand or write your name in the chat box or unmute yourself and say hello? Anyone? Are you too shy?
And maybe the other participant who has the anonymous, you can type your name.
Yes, okay.
Before the story.
Okay, good. Some of you are already writing.
Oh, we have here from Miss Winaria also.
Okay, Miss
Mhm.
Winaria. All right. So I would like to call on Miss Winaria. Can you tell us a little bit about your holiday, Miss Winaria? And what did you write about in your email? Let's write it down. Let's say it loudly.
Yeah, I went to Laos last 2 years, of course, before COVID. So I went with my best friends. We stayed in a small province in Laos. We traveled with bus in the evening from Bangkok. So it took around 12 hours to reach Vang Vieng, the province. Then we spent about a week there. We did some like hiking, right? Because there was a small hills there, a hill. I mean, then we do a tubing. I mean, cave tubing.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's all. The food was nice,
Right.
and of course, beer in the evening before sleeping, just like what Miss Herna said.
Yes,
Yeah, that's all,
refreshing
Miss.
the body
Thank
and
you.
soul.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Ms. Vinari. All right. Okay. So, yes, you have all written about your emails in here. Yeah. So this is a one type of tasks that you can assign your students. Okay. Now I would like to invite you again to write down in the chat box, besides writing an email, what other types of writing can you assign your students, or have you assigned your students? Let's see your response to that. What tasks can you give them in terms of assessing writing, besides email, letters?
We have one answer from Miss Felicia. It's blog. Maybe it's blog
Good.
article, right?
Right. Yes.
From Miss Jatu, poem.
It's about poem. Good job.
From Miss Winaria, narrative, descriptive, argumentative.
Excellent. Yes, that's a complete set. Yes. Okay. An article. Yeah, an article. That is all applicable. Yeah, the good thing about assigning a blog or an article is that they can actually, it is applicable to their daily lives. I mean, they're doing that one already anyway at the moment, right? With online learnings and stuff. Okay, I think Ms. Herna is writing a short article. Yes. Writing comments on Padlet. Okay. So Ms. Herna, you're already using Padlet. Yes.
Yes,
Herna?
miss. Couple of
Yes.
times.
Couple of times. Yeah. How do you feel about it?
I enjoy using that because the students can share their ideas, then the others can rate their friends' writing and also comment.
Yes.
So they are forced to read their friends' writing.
Yeah, just like what I'm doing exactly right
Yes.
now, right? I'm forcing you to read your friends' writing also. Okay, good. Yes, I see some good answers in here. Formal letters, application letters, CV, good. A drama script, interesting. Yes, they can write a script also. Okay, so I have some of that here. I've included some of that in here also. it's good to know that you are assigning your students different types of writing tasks also. Yeah. So here are some more examples. You might have used this already. Yeah. I think your answer sort of covered most of the tasks in here. Anyway. Okay. And the next one is the skills. So what are the skills tested when we ask our students to write something? We are assessing their vocabulary, grammar, obviously punctuation, the use of linkers and sequencers. We can put that under coherence and cohesions. Yes. And then obviously the content. Is the student writing as instructed, or if he or she writing about something else? Yeah. Okay, so that's the content. And the layout, organization, and also the response to the instructions as well. Okay, so now you already have this one in your handout. So the type of task and already also the skills tested, you will see that in the handout for reference that you can still take a look after we finish our session. Yeah. Okay, now we're going to go into samples. We're going to do some samples. Yeah. I'm going to show you a couple of writing tasks. And for each one, I want you to think about these three types. So the first one is a text type. The second one is the key features of the text type. So what is the text about? What is the writing assessment about? And also, what do the students need to know about writing that particular type of text? Okay. You can also you can start writing your answer in the chat box again. Yeah. So share your ideas about 1, 2, and 3 over here. Okay, let's start. What do you think is this one? What kind of tasks is expected from the students? And what do the students need to know about this type of tasks? Yeah.
We have one answer here from Miss Mia, descriptive text.
Sorry. Okay, in the notebook, you can take a look at the instructions in here. Write a letter of introduction to Kathy. So this one is more of a letter, actually. Yeah, a letter of introduction. So can you please go to the chat box again? And if you ask your students to write about a letter, informal letter, yeah, what kind of things are you looking for in their response? What are you assessing in their response? Good. It's an informal letter. Good job, Miss Winaria. Yes. Very good. Yeah. So in an informal letter, what is it that you are looking for? What do you want your students to write about? Good.
Okay,
We're looking at, yes, we are looking at grammar, vocabulary. Yeah. And also these ones, not to forget these ones, the greetings, the salutations, and paragraphs. Okay. So we must inform the students of these skills. Yeah. And also the materials that they need to be writing about when they write a letter, informal letter. Okay. Let's go to the next sample. What about this one now? When you have this writing task, okay, so what type of tasks is this? I think we got one correct answer from Miss Fifi. Yes, okay. Can you unmute your microphone, Miss Fifi? Right.
Hello, Miss Fifi. Yeah.
Yes, okay. Hello, Miss Fifi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay. So, what task type is this one? Is this a writing task, Miss Fifi?
I think this one is a book review.
It is a book review. Very good. Okay. And what are we looking for in a book review?
Their the details they get from the books, such as the characters, what are they interested to, the moral value also.
Yes. Okay, good. The moral value. And of course, you want some adjectives and some narrative tenses to describe the books. Yeah. Okay. And the style is informal. Okay. Let's look at a couple more samples. Okay. What about this one? Can you please write down in the chat box again? What are we asking our students to write about with these ones? Okay, I see some answers still about the previous tasks. Some of them are quite good, actually. You're on track also. Miss Milda is correct. Yes, about this one, yeah. And I see something from Miss Herna. Yes. Okay. All right. Can I call on Miss Milda? Hello, Miss Milda.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello. Yes. Okay. So, if you were to assign an article to your students, Miss Milda, what is the article usually about? Can you give an example?
It could be about things they can do, what they are able to do, because they are 8th graders. So I will ask them to tell about the things that they can do at home during the pandemic.
Yes, that's a good topic. That's a good topic to cover. Yeah. All right. And what kind of things are we looking at here, Ms. Milda?
I think they will.
The skills, yes.
Yeah, the skills will be the use of simple present tense and how they will apply pronouns.
Yes. Okay, good. It's actually for articles, we can also talk about, it depends on which, what kind of article do you want them to write. So if it's about an article in a teenage magazine, for example, so they can use informal, fun languages, a variety of tenses also. Okay. All right. So those are some writing samples that you can give your students. All right. Okay. So now we are going to be looking at assessing their writings. Yeah. How do you assess their writings? Okay. Right. So I'll be sharing my screen again. How can we assess the writing? So I would like to ask for your experience first. Okay. Can you share with us, how do you give feedback to your students? Can anybody answer that one? Who was the last person to write in the chat box? Let me see.
We have Miss Sophia, the last person.
Okay,
in
the
chat
last
box.
person to write in the chat box, Miss Sylvia. Hello, Miss Sylvia.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. So how do you give feedback to your students, Miss Sylvia?
Well, first of all, we as a teacher, we are given like a kind of a guideline from our school regarding to what are the things that we have to assess from the students. But the writing process, we have a kind of a writing process which the students have to go through. So throughout the process, we are slowly giving them some feedbacks. So like they have to do like brainstorming, outlining, clustering, outlining, and then they have to give us their rough draft. And then by that time, we are giving them our comments about their writing and then the things to improve. And then finally, they give us their final copy. So that is what we have been trying to do at school.
Okay. Have you been doing that also during this online classes, Ms. Sylvia? Is it the same process now?
When it comes to online class, it's more challenging. We are not able to give the students like a long writing task. We have to sort of like break it down into several sessions. Like let's say that if we expect the students to write an expository writing, we sort of like asking the students to write paragraph per paragraph. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the thing that we have been doing.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Ms. Sylvia. Okay. Thank you. Now, what we're going to talk about right now is actually about rubrics. Okay? Because rubrics, honestly, rubrics make our life simpler as a teacher. Yeah? And also, we can use the rubric also to tell. So for us, it's easier. So we know what to mark. Okay? So we don't just give out scores to the students, right? We don't just give out 70% or 80%, but we know which criteria that we're looking at, which skills are tested in the writing. And for the student also, they can also see their weaknesses and their strength. What are they good at? What are they bad at? Okay, so that's why we're going to talk about rubric this time. Okay, now it's for you to it's time for you to match. Yeah, I have put up in here some criteria. Okay, so this is I'm basing this on the Cambridge assessment of writing. Yeah, but you can also base that, like Miss Sylvia said, her school may have some guidelines already on how to assess writing. You can adjust this rubric accordingly you can cater them to the needs of your students, of course. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, we're going to match this one. So get ready in the chat box again. Can you please match? What do we mean by content? Is it the first one, A? Is it the second, B, or C, or D? Okay. So can you please write down in the chat box again? What is content? What is a communicative achievement? What is organization and language? Okay, let's think for a little bit. I know this is already in the afternoon. People are sleepy and I'm making you think, okay? But I hope that you don't mind, yeah? So please write your answer in the chat box.
Yeah, they can simply type 1A or 1B like that, Mr. Felicia, right?
Yes, yes.
2A or 2B. No need to write all the words.
Yes, I am not that evil. Okay. So just the numbers and the letters. Yeah, just match them up. Okay. Right. I see that someone. Yes, some answers are already coming up. Yes. I think Isana is giving her correct answers. Yes. Okay, let's wait for a couple more responses. Yes. Good. Very good. Okay, so I'm going to go to Miss Anna. What is content, Miss Anna? Which one's about talking about content?
Hello, Miss Anna.
Miss Anna,
Crisanti.
Crisanti?
Yeah.
Yes.
We still cannot hear your voice.
Oh, yeah. Miss Anna is having some technical problems, I think. Okay,
Yeah.
let's pick another person with the correct answer. Miss Langgogani. That's quite a nice name, actually. How should I call you, Miss?
Thank you, Miss Lengo.
Miss Lengo, yeah.
Yes.
Where are you from, Miss?
Pekanbaru.
Oh, okay. It sounds Javanese. Are you from Java?
No, I'm not. It's actually a West Sumatran, like name. So in
Okay.
West Sumatra, have you ever heard the Pagaruyung Kingdom from Batu Sangkar?
I haven't. I will have to Google that one up. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So the king has a daughter, and the name is Putih Lenggogeni. So my grandmother gave me that name.
Interesting. Good to know. Right. So Miss Lengo, is it? Miss
Yes.
Lengo.
Miss Lengo.
Yes. Which one is content, Miss Lengo? Let's go.
Okay. Content, I think it's D. Like this focuses on how well the candidates has fulfilled the task. In other words, like if they're done what they have asked to do.
What about the communicative achievement? Which one is it?
The communicative achievement, I think my answer is B. So this focuses on how appropriate the writing is for the task and whether the candidate has used the appropriate register.
Good job. Yes. What about the organization?
Organization, I think my answer was C. This focuses on the way the candidate puts together in a piece of writing.
The organization, the layout, and everything else.
Logical order. And the
The
language.
last one.
It's A.
Yes. So language focuses on the vocabulary.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So one more question, Ms. Lengo.
Yes.
Do you use this kind of criteria to mark the writing of your students?
Like we have another kind of rubric actually. So if you allow me to share it, so I have my paper over here, so I bring it. So I usually for secondary or for middle school, we ask them to write an essay.
Yes.
So after they write an essay, we will somehow score them into four things, which is grammar, vocabulary, spelling, and word order, organization, structure, and coherence, and the last one is content. So for each of them, we somehow grade them into 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, grammar, if they have good comment of grammar, so we will give them 3. So for 1, it's actually limited comment of the language, 2, comprehensible expression, 3, good comment of the language, and 4, excellent comment of the language. So at the end, we're going to, so for example, if I read an essay of my student and then I will check, or for grammar, I think I will give 3, and then vocab, I will give 2, and then at the end, we will sum up and take the average. That's how we actually,
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lengo. This is actually a very thorough way of explaining rubrics. Yeah, so for that, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So you might also, for the other teachers, you might also have your own scoring criteria. Yeah, the rubrics criteria. But Ms. Lengo actually brought up some good points in the way she or the school is assessing the writings. Yeah. Okay. Because the wordings that you use for the rubrics, you must sort of adjust to the levels of your students. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to show you an example of this one. Okay. So this is actually how we mark. This is almost similar to what Ms. Lengo was explaining before. Yeah. We gave bands also here. So from band 0, but almost nobody gets band 0, obviously, to band 5. Okay. So here is how we are describing the each criteria. Yeah. And this one is useful for writing rubrics because it will guide you. It will give you a clear guidance of how to mark them. So you don't just mark them. Oh, I don't like this student. I'm going to give him or her a 2. I like this one. She's very nice. I'm going to give her a 5, for example. We don't want that, right? So we have to have a clear guideline of this rubric. Okay. For those of you who are already using this Cambridge writing assessment, you might be familiar with this one. But for you who haven't used this, let's take a look about this one more clearly. Okay. In order to do this, I would like you to go to word wall, right? So, Ocha, can you give the link in the chat box again, please?
Yes. Yep, already.
All right. So, can you click on the link? Yeah, we're going to play around with the criteria and the descriptors. Okay. I'm going to show you my screen now. This is what you're supposed to see there. Okay, so if you click on the word wall link, you will be able to see this. Yeah, so what I want you to do, I know it's quite small. Yeah, it's quite small. And especially if you're using an iPad or something, it will even become smaller, but try to take a look anyway. Yeah, so what I want you to do is just to click on this one. So what do you think is number one? First one, if we're talking about content, what is Band 5 for content? Okay, do you think you know which one is it from A, B, C, D, E? Which one do you think that is? Content, Band 5. It is actually here, L, if you can see that. Yes, it's L. So all content is relevant to the task. So I will just click on this one and drag it to the whole. So can you please do that one? Yeah. And for the rest of it. So I'm going to let you play around with it for a couple of minutes. And then you can, when you're happy with your answer, you can just click submit. It will be checked automatically. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to give you some minutes to play around with this. The criteria. Okay. When you do that one, you will see that some of the wordings are similar to one another. Okay, or only slight difference. The difference is very, very small. Yeah. And we will be talking about that one after this. Okay. Right. Does anybody have any problems connecting to word wall? Or are you already doing the assignment there? If you remember, if you have a problem getting to word wall, just please write about it in our chat box, so we know that you're having problems with it. Yeah.
You can see from the camera, the participants are really seriously played the word wall.
Yes, good to know, Ocha. They are, or maybe because the writings are so small that they have to be serious in looking at the screen. Yes, but hopefully they're doing it just fine. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to stop you there. Yeah. It's okay if you are not finished, because you will have all the answers of this rubric, the complete version of this rubric, in the handout that you will get at the end of the session. Yeah. Okay. So let me just direct your attention a little bit to this particular thing. All right. Hold on here. Okay, so you will get this one in your handout later. Yeah, complete with all the answers. So you can compare that to the rubrics that you're already using, maybe make some adjustments. In here we are using band 5, 1 until, 0 until 5, but in your school, you might be using percentage, like 10%, 20%, and then count up all the scores, yeah? So this is basically adjustable. You can cater them to the needs of your students. So just play around with the rubrics as you want, okay? Right, so here, I just need to get your attention on these one. The wordings of the rubric, yeah? The wordings of the rubric. If you're giving a band 3 and band 1, okay, it says in here, we use simple grammatical forms with a good degree of control. Okay, that's band 3. In band 1, also the same thing. Use simple grammatical forms, but with only some degree of control. Okay, so these are quite useful wordings that you can use for your rubrics. So if band 1, we can say some degree of control. Number 3, we can say good degree of control. What about band 5? Do you have any idea of what you can say in the rubric of band 5? Can you please unmute your microphone and just speak, please, if you have any idea? So 1 is some degree of control. Number 3, good degree of control. What about band 5, the highest band? What do we say? Let's pick somebody from the chat box again. Who is it that wrote the last time, Ocha? Can you please check on the names?
Mr. Dumaris Sinaga.
Okay, is that a miss or?
Hello,
Mr.
Yeah, hello, Miss.
Yeah, Miss Dumaris. Okay. All right. So what can you get? What can you give for band 5, Miss, for this particular wording of the rubric?
Pardon me, ma'am.
Okay, so I will repeat the question again. Yeah. So for band 1, both bands says that they use simple grammatical forms. Yeah, but how much are you using that in control? Band 1 is only some degree of control. Band 3, you're looking at good degree of control. What about band 5, Miss Dumaris?
All. What about the word all?
Sorry, can you repeat that one more time?
All. If it is some, good, it means.
Yeah, we can certainly use that. Yes. Or you can just say with excellent degree of control. Yeah, very good degree of control. Yeah. So those are the words that you can change or adjust according to the needs of your students and also the level of your students, as long as it's clear what you are looking for. Okay? Right. Let's go to the next one. Now I want you to assess this kind of writing. Yeah? Can you please take a look at this question? This is taken from the PET writing rubric. Okay? So if you remember from our CFR at the beginning, when we talk about PET, we are actually talking about pre-intermediate level students. Yeah? So you might have students which is at the pre-intermediate level. And this is the question. When I woke up and saw the weather, I couldn't believe it. And you're supposed to write a story. Yeah? And I'm going to show you the answer of one of the students. So can you please take a look at your screen and mark the content of this story. So from band 0 until 5, what band will you give this particular kind of writing? And if you can write that down in the chat box. So from band 1 to 5. Yeah, band 1 to 5. Just assess the content. Do you need to see the questions again? Wait a minute, yeah? I'll just click on it very quickly. This one, they must write a story continuing this first line. When I woke up and saw the weather, I couldn't believe it. They must write a story about that. Okay, so if you think you know what kind of pen you are giving for the content, could you please write in the chat box?
Yeah, we have one answer here from Mr. Haryo Budi Dwi
Mr. Haryo
Pratama.
Budi, yes.
Band 5, it says.
Is that band 5? Does everybody else agree with Mr. Haryo? Let's see. Let's wait for a couple more answers. Okay, so I'm just going to call on Mr. Haryo now. Mr. Haryo, can you please unmute your microphone?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Why did you give the band 5 to this student, Mr. Haryo? In terms of content?
As long as we can see from the text previously, right? The text provide the first sentence, and we can see that the first sentence started for the text called recount text, which means it always start or it always use a simple past tense. And we can see from the example answer, all of the texts are written in the form of simple past tense.
Yeah, consistent use of past tense.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, good. Yeah, so that is actually correct. This is, let's see the comments from the assessor giving a band 5 for this student. Okay, so this is the criteria that we're looking at. Is the content relevant to the task? Yes. Is the target reader fully informed? It's also yes. Okay, what Mr. Haryo said earlier about the use of past tense consistently, we can also put that mark in the language, the grammar and vocabulary part. Yeah, consistent use of past tense falls in that category also. Okay, so in terms of content, we just want to know if you read that particular writing, are you informed? And can you follow the story? If yes, then easily band 5. That's it. Okay, all right. So this is about the writing. We're almost finished for the writing. Let's just remind you a bit about this one. Here, I will just remind you again, if you use a rubric, we can talk about specific scores and it's easily reported to the student. What do they need to improve? Yeah, and what they are already good at. So it's a good thing, it's a balanced thing. What their weaknesses are, what their strengths are. And as I said before, rubrics make our life easier because we have a guideline of marking. We don't just give out, okay, you get 70%, but how? You need to break it down. Okay, we are assessing the content, we are assessing the grammar and vocabulary, we are assessing the organization, the layout, and so on. Okay, all right. That is all that we have the time for the writing, I think, before we move on to the speaking part. If you have a question, remember, if you have a question, you can type in the chat box because we will have a Q&A session at the end of the session later. That's when I will answer your questions. All right. So if you could just write down your questions in the chat box, and Ocha will note that, make some notes about that one, and I will try to answer at the end. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the assessing writing. All right. Now, before we continue, are you all sleepy now? Is it already sleepy? It's already past 3 o'clock, I think. It's nap time for some people. Yeah? Okay. So to wake you up, to cheer you up, I've got a little warmer before we move to the speaking assessment. Yeah, because after that, just like the writing part, we're going to talk about rubrics again. We're going to be talking about assessing again. So let's relax for a bit now. Okay. So there you go. Okay, now let's take a look at your screen. I'm going to share the screen now. Now, this game is called Thinking Outside the Box. Okay? All right, so I will give you some questions. The questions might be ordinary. Yeah, it might be like everyday kind of questions. But you need to think outside the box in order to answer the question. So if you think you have the answer, again, we're not using the chat box this time because I need to hear your voice. It's going to be speaking after all after this. It's assessing speaking. So I want to hear your voice. Yeah. So if you think you know the answer, then you just click on the microphone and shout out your answer. More than one person to shout, it's okay. All right. Okay. First question. How do you spell candy with just 2 letters? Remember the name of the game? Think outside the box. Yeah? Okay, so if you are ready to answer, I think Ocha will prepare some surprises for you if your answer is correct. Right, Ocha? Okay. All right, I think somebody's writing the chat box, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, itu dia benar.
Hold on, let me see.
I think we get one answer correct, Miss Felicia.
I think it's from Mr. Hario again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mr. Hario is good at thinking outside the box. Yes. So this is the answer actually. You write C and Y, just 2 letters. Okay, well done, Mr. Hario. See if you can get the next one correctly also. Let's go to the next question. If the word mom becomes wow when you turn it upside down, what do you get when you spell it backwards? Okay, you can either write in the chat box or you can unmute yourself and speak. Has anybody written anything in the chat box?
Yes,
Pacha?
there are so many answers. Most of them says mom.
I'm going to tell you that is not the answer. Let's read it again. So if you twist it upside down, mom becomes wow. What do you get when you spell it backwards? Now the answer might be surprising to you. No one's got this one right? No? You ready for the answer? Yeah, ready for the answer? Everybody got it right. Okay, I will tell you what you get when you spell it backwards. Of course, you will get T and I if you spell it backwards. Because it, when you spell it backwards, it becomes T-I. Yeah? So it's not mom, it's not wow, it's not anything else, it's T. Not anything else. So it's T and I. Okay? All right, go to the next question. So nobody got this one right. Okay? This one. How many numbers are there on a dice? Anyone who can answer?
Still waiting. Okay, Miss Isna says 7.
Why
Miss Anna
7,
says
Miss
a
Isna?
lot. Okay, we have answers here from Miss Sophia. There are no numbers.
There are no numbers, Miss. Hold on.
Sophia.
Miss Sylvia. Okay. Why do you say so, Miss Sylvia? Can you try to answer for everyone?
Because I think that number should be like a symbol.
So what about on the dice? What do you see on the dice?
It's just representing. It's representing a number, but it's not really a number. It's just a picture.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Mr. Hario also write none in here. Same with Miss Sylvia. Mr. Hario also write none. So what do you mean by none, Mr. Hario?
No number at all, just like a symbol of dots, calculating for the number only.
Exactly. Yeah. So on a dice, we don't see numbers. We see dots. Yeah. 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots, and 4 dots. No numbers. That's the answer. Okay. I still have a couple more questions. This is quite easy. I think everybody will be able to answer this. Let's see who's got the fastest one. How do you spell hot water using only 3 letters?
Okay, we have Mr. Haryo is the fastest. The
Mr.
first
Haryo,
answer,
okay.
yeah.
I think Mr. Haryo, he is very good at thinking outside the box, I think. Yes?
Well done.
So how do you say that? Ice. Good job. It is I-C-E. This is hot water, ice. Very good. And the last one, yeah? What is it in the center of Paris that can't be found in Washington or in London?
Okay, we have Miss Anna, the first one who answered R.
Okay. Miss Anna.
Yeah.
Good job. Is it Miss Anna Crisanti? Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And also all the answers are R. Great.
I know. Yes. Okay. Right. So the center of Paris is R. Okay, good. Right. So I know that all the questions in Indonesian, we call it receh, right? It's just a good laugh. Yeah. But it's sometimes fun to play with, to break the ice with your students when they are sleepy and confused. And hopefully with that, they can cheer your student up. And hopefully with that questions, I can cheer you up before going to speaking assessment. Yes? Are we ready to go to the next part of our assessment? Yes, the speaking assessment. Okay. So to begin with, I will remind you again that I'm using the examples from Cambridge tests because that's the standardized test that is the easiest to follow. Of course, there are other platforms, there are other standard tests that you are basing your lessons on. For example, IELTS or even TOEFL. Yeah. And it's okay. That is absolutely fine. You can use whichever testing assessment or testing criteria as long as it's clear which levels that you're using for your students. Okay, so the ones that I will be using now is a sample from the Cambridge tests, which is the CAT, the key test, PET, preliminary, and also the first certificate. Okay, so if you remember, that is for the elementary, pre-intermediate, and intermediate levels. Okay, so you might want to adapt the examples to the abilities of your students. All right. Okay, so I will be showing you a video now. Can you please take a look at the video that I will be showing at the screen? Okay, hold on. So this is an example of the Cambridge testing. Some of your schools might already familiar with this one. But for those who are not yet familiar, let's just give this as an input. You can adapt this one. You don't have to follow it just like it is, but just try to adapt it to the as a model for your own speaking assessments. Yeah. Okay. So let's just watch.
Hello. Can you give me your mark sheets, please? I'm Jenny Cook, and this is Eve Regus. She will just listen to us. Now, what's your name?
Sharissa.
Thank you. And your name?
Yanis.
Thanks. Sharissa, and what's your surname?
Fritchie.
And how do you spell that?
F-R-I-T-S-C-H-I.
Thank you. And Yanis, what's your surname?
Fritchi.
And how do you spell that?
F-R-I-T-S-C-H-I.
Thank you. Yanis, where do you come from?
German. Yes, Germany.
And do you study English at school?
Yes.
What other subjects do you study?
Biology, German, Latin, sport, arts, and music.
What subjects do you like best?
Sport is my favorite subject.
Why?
You can move, you can play a sport, football, tennis, and other sports.
And Sharissa, where do you come from?
I'm from Germany too.
Do you study English at school?
Yes.
And what other subjects do you study?
History, biology, physics, chemie, sport, arts, music, French, math, and so on.
Okay, right. We will be watching the rest of the video later. Yeah, I just want you to think about this kind of particular testing. All right. Okay, let's go back to the slides again now. Okay. Right. So yeah, just like what we watched there in the video, yeah, that's a way of assessing the students' skills and tasks, and also the task type that they're using to assess the speaking performances. Okay. Now, what I would like to ask you is that have you ever done this kind of tests before, or maybe you have other ways of assessing your students' speaking skills? Okay. Could you please share your ideas and share your experience in the chat box, and so that we can talk a little bit about it? So, have you ever done that sort of testing before? So in pairs, you're asking question as a teacher, or if you haven't, then what kind of speaking assessments have you done with your students? Okay, so could you please type in the chat box, and we would like to see your answer. Okay, Miss Yoshia is writing. She's using Flock. Okay, interesting. Yes. Good. What about the others? How do you test your students' speaking assessment? Okay, Ms. Lengo is saying oral presentation. Good. Yeah. Ms. Venaria is right. One-on-one interview, long-term individuals. Okay. Yes. Good job. All right. So let me call on Ms. Vinaria again. Okay, Ms. Vinaria, can you please unmute your speaker?
All right. Yeah. Hi, Miss.
Okay. Yes. So you're saying you're using a one-on-one interview. Yeah. Do you think that is more effective than the pair work that we saw before, or not? Which one is more effective? Individual or paired?
I have never done that in pairs, but so far what we have done is one-on-one. So one examiner with one student as the interviewee. So that's quite difficult sometimes, depends on the personality of the students.
Yeah.
But as long as we present them the criteria, I mean the questions, the topics, so they kind of know about what kind of conversation will be built in the spot. So that's what we have done so far.
Right. Okay. So they didn't know what questions will be asked to them, right?
Yes. Yeah. We share the topic.
Okay, right. So we'll be talking about that one later. Now, thank you, Miss Vinaria. I'm going to call on Miss, hold on, Miss Anna, Miss Anna Crisanti. You are saying you have a debate with your students. Can you please explain to everyone else in here, how do you do that? How do you conduct the debate and how do you mark the debate?
Okay, hello. We hope the technical issue is already.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
Hello, Miss Anna.
It's okay, Miss Anna. If you could just type in the chat box, yeah. So we would like to know how you're doing the debate and how are you marking the students during the debate. Okay, so we'll be waiting for Miss Anna to write in the chat box. While we're waiting, I'm going to go to Miss Isna. She's writing presentation and describing picture. Can you please deliberate more on that, Miss Isna?
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Felicia, for the speaking assessment for us. We do for the describing picture. So for how we assess is how they describe the picture and exploring about the picture where they go, so that we can see it is more. It's capable to, if they're capable to describe the picture, it means we can give them high criteria in developing a picture. And then for the next one is what is it? Presentation means we give the topic and then we ask them to do the presentation topic from the text, from the text, and then ask them to present what they get from the text.
Okay, all right. So what my question to you, Miss Isna, is that so did you give the students time to prepare beforehand, or is it spontaneous?
Actually, for the describing picture, no time for only giving them directly. But for the presentation, maybe we give them preparation before. So around 5 or 10 minutes to prepare, and then we ask them to present what I get from the text.
Oh, okay. So does it mean that they're doing it on the spot as well? So it doesn't mean that they have maybe a week to prepare the presentation?
No need, I guess.
Okay, yes. All right, good to know. Good. Thank you, Ms. Isna. And we're going to go to one more person. Hold on. Before we read from Ms. Anna. Ms. Dumares, you're writing show and tell. Can you please explain a little bit more how you're marking your students during the show and tell?
So for my activity, for the speaking, for the show and tell, I use this for descriptive text. So I ask them to find the smallest object around them, and then they will show the class and tell about it using the 5 senses and the vivid words.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes. So you're making it more fun using that techniques, I suppose. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Ms. Dumares. And let's go to Mr. Haryo now. Mr. Haryo is writing about storytelling. What I want to know is that do you give time for your students to prepare beforehand, or is it on the spot? They have to tell the story. Mr. Haryo.
Yes, exactly. We gave them time, 1 week preparation, and we just like giving the theme, and mostly we are using the like folklore or folktale story, and they can prepare it like using the puppets or anything else, or they can make up drawing and put it on the stick, and then he just like storytelling it in front of the classroom.
So it's like retelling a story. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. So we will be talking about prepared speaking versus the on-the-spot speaking, just like what we saw before. Okay, because you will have to make a different sort of rubrics from these two. Yeah. So if you give the students time to prepare beforehand, and if you didn't give them time to prepare, it should be also reflected in the rubrics when we talk about rubrics later. Okay. Right, we'll just go very quickly to Miss Anna. Yeah. She's writing that she's using Rubric to split into these criteria. Well done. Okay, very good. Yes, okay. Thank you, Miss Anna. Right. Okay. Now, let's just go through very quickly about the tasks that you can assign your students for speaking. Like we watch in the video, there was some personal Q&A, yeah? Or tell me about, this is what Miss Isna was assigning her students. Tell me about the smallest object or the largest one, maybe. And also, we will be covering these types of tasks in the samples of the speaking test that I will give you after this one. Yeah. So we'll be looking at some information exchange, making decision, and describing and comparing pictures. Okay. All right. So we are going to go through this one very quickly. Actually, there. Hold on. This is quite similar to the one that we had for writing. Yeah. So you can read it again in your handout later, okay, that we will get at the end of the session. So this is about the same thing. We are testing similar things as the ones in the writing. All right. Okay. So now what I want you to think about very quickly is this individual tests versus paired tests. Yeah. And which ones do you prefer? So I have prepared in here. These are some pros of using individual tests. So for the teacher, for us, when we test one student only, we can focus on the performance of that particular student. Okay. And also, if you would take a look at number 3, sometimes if there are 2 people who's doing the interview, we tend to compare, right? But we shouldn't really do that to assess speaking because it's an individual. Even if you're doing it in pairs, the assessment is still individual for them. But for us as the assessor, as the one giving marks, sometimes it's quite confusing. We tend to compare, oh, this one sounds better than A, sounds better than B, and so on. Okay. And also individual test is a good preparation for IELTS. If you have a high level student who are taking IELTS, it's a good way to prepare. Okay. Now, can you think about anything else? Any pros about doing the test individually as opposed to the paired? Okay, let's go back to the chat box again and then write down if you think this is better than the paired test or not and why. Yeah. Okay, Ocha, do we have some answers?
Yeah, we have from Miss
From Miss
Sylvia.
Sylvia, yes. Yeah. Okay, let me see that. Yeah, good job, Miss Sylvia. That's a good insight. When they're on their own, then they like it or not, they will have to extend their response and not rely on their friends. Yeah. But also, anything else from here? So let's just go to the paired tests. Yeah. Miss Jatu, I think. Okay. Miss Jatu in here. Can I ask Miss Jatu to explain? Yes. Hi, Miss. Can I ask you to explain about your answer?
Actually, when we pair students, they will see their partner. If they know their partner, and they will start to compare themselves. Oh, my friend is way out better than me. What if the examiner compare my English ability to my partner. They are afraid that the assessor will be biased, will be not objective anymore. So the pressure is really hard on them. Or maybe if their partner is weaker than them, then they are afraid that the conversation, maybe the test which requires conversation with the partner will not run smoothly. So they have that kind of fear when they should do paired speaking tests.
Exactly.
And that's why some students prefer to have individual tests so that they are, how to say, they feel more comfortable to talk, even though maybe their ability is not that good enough, but they have more chances to explore themselves.
Exactly. Yes, thank you, Ms. Jatu. That's a very clear explanation on why individual test is sometimes better than paired test. Yeah. So not only the assessor feel the pressure to compare, but the students are themselves comparing their ability with their partners, of course. Okay. Which brings us to the some pros points, some good points about this paired test. Yeah, they can be more relaxed. Like Miss Sylvia just wrote down in the chat box, I think. Yeah, some shy students, when they have a backup of their partner, obviously, they feel more relaxed. Okay, and they, if you take a look at number 4 in here, they can feed off each other's ideas, so they feel supported again. Okay, and if you take a look at number 3, it's a good practice for Cambridge exams because as you see in our videos before, higher level Cambridge exams are done in pairs. So again, it depends on what kind of tests or what kind of task are you setting your students. Okay, what's your goal? If you are preparing them for IELTS, so maybe an individual test might be useful for them. But if you're preparing them for Cambridge exams, then you can get them to practice in pairs. But a combination, this is not about this one. You should, if you're doing individual tests, then you have to do it all the time. Or if you're doing paired tests, then you will have to do it all the time. No. Of course, there will be a combination. You can just put a combination between these two. Sometimes get them to talk individually to you, and sometimes get them to talk in pairs. Okay. All right. Now, time for some samples. Okay. And in some of the samples, I will be asking for some volunteers. So Ocha, could you please be ready to pick 1 or 2 of the participants? All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Let's take a look at the samples. All right. So what I want you to do when we look at the tasks, I want you to identify what kind of task, what kind of type is it? And the interaction pattern, is it individual or is it pair? And what do students need to produce during this speaking assessment? Yeah. Okay, let's go to the first one. Right. Can you please write down your ideas in the chat box? Can you share with us, with your with everybody in the chat box? So what is the task? Is it individual or pairs, do you think? And what do they need? What do students need to produce with these ones? Ms. Corey is writing, giving opinions. Good job. Yes. Pairs. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Corey. All right. Arguments. Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. So let's take a look at this decision. They're making a discussion basically. And you are correct. It's paired work. It's paired work when they have to discuss something and give their opinions and the reasons. Okay. This is actually the task that the interlocutor, that the interviewer say to the students. Yeah. So if you can take a look at this one very quickly. I'd like you to imagine that a town wants more tourists to visit. Here are some ideas they're thinking about and a question for you to discuss. So this is setting up for a discussion between the students. So this type of task is done in pairs. Yeah, making decision, and then at the end, they have to, they have to discuss about it, and in the end, they will have to make a decision. Okay, let's take a look at the next sample. Okay, so what is this about? What is the task for this particular picture? Okay, do we have any answers in here? Describing, and it's individual. Very good. Yes, describing a picture. This is an individual. They will have to describe what can they see, where, and who. Yeah. Okay. So, a volunteer, please. Can you please raise your hand?
Is there anyone who wants to be?
Remember, Ocha will give out some gifts at the end of people who raise their hands as quickly as they can. Okay.
If not, maybe I can choose.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you can pick somebody, someone or two.
Okay, I think I will invite Miss Cory. Hello, Miss Cory.
All right.
Hi, Miss.
Okay, Miss Cory, could you please describe what you can see in the picture?
I saw four teens who are having a party. Probably they are also practicing musical instruments, or they are a group band who are going to perform in a party. And there are so many balloons and sofas. Probably they perform at home, someone's house, probably one of the group team member.
Yes. Okay, yeah. It's very good. If our students are all like Miss Cory, then our job will be very easy. Yeah, 100, 100, 100. Okay, well done, Miss Cory. Good job. Okay, very good. So this is describing pictures. Yeah, thank you, Miss Cory. Now the next one, I will also ask for 2 volunteers this time. Ocha, you can pick for this. Sample over here. Let's pick 2 volunteers.
Okay.
While waiting for Ocha to pick, yeah. Let's talk about the task type. What is it about? This one. Can you please write in the chat box, and then maybe Ocha can pick the person who's writing in the chat box. Yeah. So what kind of task is this? And is it individual or is it pair? I am not showing the instructions yet. So I just need you to think first, and then I will be showing you the instructions for this. Okay, maybe it will help. It will help if I give you the instructions. I think Miss Jatu is correct, and maybe we can pick her. Yeah. So one will be Miss Jatu, and the other one is Miss Dumaris. Okay, it's a paired word. Yeah, it's a paired exchange. So I will act as an interlocutor. So I will be the interviewer. Okay, Miss Jatu, you will be student A. And Miss Dumaris, you will be student B. Okay, now let's listen to me. Miss Jatu, here is some information about a skateboarding competition. This one, yeah, in the first box. This is some information about skateboarding competition. Miss Dumaris, you don't know anything about the skateboarding competition, so you are going to ask Miss Jatu about it. Yes? Okay? All right. So the other participants, if you could just listen to your 2 friends in here and try to assess their level of English, okay? So try to give them scores. Excellent, good, okay, or I think, yes, you can assess them yourself, right? Okay, so Miss Jatu, here is your information, and Miss Dumaris, here is your question. Please ask Miss Jatu. Okay.
Hi, Miss Jatu. Where do you know something about the skateboarding competition? Like, where is it, or any information about it? I am wondering about it.
What would you like to know first?
I would like to get information because I would like to participate if it is available for me.
Miss Dumaris, you have a set of questions in here that you can use.
Is it for me or for children or?
Yes, okay.
It's a skateboarding competition. It's for anyone from 11 to 15 years old.
It's for 15 until 11 until 15. I see. So I can't join it. Where will it be? Maybe I have my cousin. Do you have any information about date or the link I can join about it?
It will be held on the 20th June.
Where can I register myself or someone that I know?
You can visit www.citynews.com for more information.
Okay, thank you, Miss Jatu and Miss Dumaris. Yeah, again, well done. I think they are excellent. Do you all agree with me? They're excellent students, yeah? Again, we will be very happy if all our students are like Miss Jatu and Miss Dumaris. Okay, all right. So this is an example from the cat speaking questions, yeah? As you can see, when you give this kind of test, if you are preparing your students for a certain kind of test, we will be talking about this one later, yeah? But if you're preparing them for a certain kind of test, it is always important to give samples of the questions that might come up. Because otherwise, if they come into the testing, on the testing day, I mean, if they come into the test unprepared, completely unprepared, then they will not know what to do with the information, what to do, how to ask questions from these prompts, maybe. So they will absolutely have no idea. So as a teacher, it is our job to prepare them. Yeah, so to give the kind of samples that is necessary for them to take a certain kind of test. Of course, this one again can be catered to the ability of your students. All right. Okay. And the last one, I will also ask one more volunteer, please. One more volunteer. This one. To be asked a question. I am going to pick Miss Herna. Are you there? I'm just going to pick Miss Herna.
Hello, Miss Herna.
Okay. She's not there. So I'm just going to ask, I think, hold on, the one that I can see the video, Mr. Richard. Mr. Richard Sinaga. Hello, Mr. Richard. How are you this afternoon?
Please unmute
Can you unmute yourself,
Yeah.
Mr.
Okay.
Richard? Yes. Yeah. Hello, how are you this afternoon, Mr. Richard?
Yes, I'm good, as you see.
Okay, all right. So, Mr. Richard, I will just ask you some of these questions, yeah? So this is an example of personal Q&A, individual answering information, yeah? So, Mr. Richard, can you tell me, what food do you like best?
Subject.
I'm sorry? What was it?
Sorry, miss?
What food do you like best, Mr. Richard?
I like, yeah, also like Indonesian people, like fried chicken and then fried rice. Yeah, I think that's all. Like a simple food, like food court.
Simple food, yes. I'm sure we all like that one. And what's your favorite color, Mr. Richard?
Blue. like
Blue. Yeah. Why do you like
because,
blue?
I don't know, but when I see the blue, I get the relax, like a calm my mind. Like yeah, it's like yeah, when you see the blue sky, you will like, oh, it is nice. Like you give a new information, like you give a new mood,
Okay.
from the blue.
All right. One last question. I hope you don't mind me asking. How old are you, Mr. Richard?
Sorry?
How old are you? I hope you don't
20
mind answering that question.
24 years old.
Did you say 24?
Yes.
Very young. Oh no, he's half my age. Look at that. Okay, 24. It's good to see some really young people dedicating their life as teachers in here. Yes, good, good, good. Okay, good to know. All right. Okay, so this is an example of an individual task with a personal Q&A. Yeah. Now, it's the same, just like what we talk about in the reading. There are also some rubrics that we can use to assess speaking. Okay, so we'll be going on into the rubrics. Yeah. For the same reason, we're using the rubric in speaking for the same reason we use the rubrics in writing, to give us a clear guidelines, obviously. And the wordings, again, it's quite important too. Yeah, so I'm just giving you a sample in here about the cat speaking rubric. So let me remind you again, cat is elementary level. Okay, sometimes what we forget is that when we assess our students, we sometimes forget their levels. Okay, so that is why you have to have a clear idea. So let's say when you're assessing grade 7, for example, and when you're assessing grade 11, the expectation should be different. All right, so if somebody is scoring very well in grade 7 with the elementary, at the elementary level, let's say that person score a band 5 in here for elementary. When you're giving the same test, when you're giving the same rubric to grade 11, for example, which is in the next category, which is in the pre-intermediate CAT category. So band 5 in CAT will be equal to band 3 in PAT. Okay, and for the if we're using the same analogy, then band 5 in PAT will be another band 3 in the FCE speaking rubric, in the intermediate speaking rubric. So so we cannot think that all students are the same. So I expect them to be fluent. No, but just how fluent you want them to be, at what level fluency you want them to be. Okay, all right, so for that I will be showing you some video. So we will, like I said, we will continue about that speaking video that we saw in the beginning. Yeah, those are taken from CAT actually. So please pay attention to the grammar and vocabulary part. Okay, so let's take a very quick look at the rubric for grammar and vocabulary here. For band 5, the student should show a good degree of control of simple grammatical form, and they use a range of vocabulary. Okay, in band 3, look, please take a look at the wordings. Yeah, it says only sufficient control. So it's not really good degree, it's sufficient control. That's band 3. Okay, and the vocabulary, it's appropriate, only appropriate vocabulary. So you don't need range for that. Yeah, so you see how we build up the scales, the scoring marks to create rubrics. And for this one, you need to be clear in your wordings, how you create your rubric for the students. Okay, so we will continue to see the CAP students earlier that we saw before. And I want you to just take a look at the grammar and vocabulary criteria. Band 1 is only limited control and just limited vocabulary also, isolated words and phrases. Okay, so please take a look at the clip again. I will be showing you only 2 minutes of the whole speaking test, and I want you to assess the grammar and vocabulary. What band will you give them? Okay, right, so far from 1 to 5, yeah, because like I said, 0 means they speak absolutely nothing. That's 0. We rarely give 0 to the students unless they don't show up or they're not speaking at all. Okay, so we will continue the video. Hold on. Okay, so here you will see them doing the information exchange, the one that Miss Jatu and Miss Dumaris was doing earlier. So it's actually taken from the CAT test. Yeah, they will be doing the same, different pictures, of course, but the same type of tasks. Okay, so let's take a look.
Sharissa, here is some information about a computer game. Yanis, you don't know anything about the computer game. So ask Sharissa some questions about it and use these words to help you. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. So now, Yanis, ask Sharissa your questions about the computer game and Sharissa, you answer them.
What call it the computer game?
Future World.
It's the computer game expensive?
No, only 35 pounds.
How many players can play the computer games?
2 to 4.
Where I can buy the computer game?
In computer shops and supermarkets.
Can I buy it now?
No, it's on sale from next week.
Thank you. Can I have the book?
Okay, now if you can go to your chat box and then write down, what band would you give their grammar and vocabulary?
Miss Felicia, just a little reminder, we
Yes.
only have 5 more minutes left.
Yes, I know. Okay,
Yeah,
so we have still one more video and then we're wrapping up. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Miss Felicia.
Okay. Okay, do you already have the answers, Ocha?
Not yet.
Yet, okay. So what's the band for that?
Miss Isna says excellent, and also Miss Sophia, band 3.
Yeah, I think, remember, like what I said before, we are testing them at an elementary level. So for elementary students to be able to speak like those two, I would just say that they're very good. Yeah. So I would just give a band 5 for the grammar and vocabulary. It's different that when you're testing an intermediate student speaking like that, then we should lower the band. Yeah. But at that level, they're already quite good. Yeah. So that's what I said. You must always remember what are the level of your students. So we can't expect them to be perfect at all times. Okay. So for elementary students to speak like that, it's quite good. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to give you another slide. This is the last video. Okay, Ocha? So we're just going to move very fast now. The last video is from FCE. This is intermediate level. So could you keep in mind that you are testing intermediate students, okay? And I want you to mark their pronunciation. Yeah, so try to mark their pronunciation. The band is still the same, band 1 to 5, but this is intermediate level. Yes? Okay, let's take a look quickly. This is when they have to describe a picture. Okay.
Compare the photographs and say what do you think the people are enjoying about doing these things. All right?
Yes. So in the first picture, we can see a few people who are in the sea, and they are walking in the sea. There is 3 girls and 1 boy. It's maybe a family or only friends, but they seem young. And it must be very funny because it's the sunshine and a lot of people like enjoy time next to the sea. In the second photograph, we can see people in a town, but it is in the winter, so there is snow. Maybe these people are visiting the town and enjoying a good time there. But maybe when it is in the winter, it's not enjoying the sunshine and so. It's more visiting place.
All right, so can you share with us what do you think about her pronunciation? Okay, at an intermediate level. Can you guess from her accent where is the girl from?
French.
Which country?
Italy.
Yeah. She has a French accent. Yes. Okay, I'm just going to open up the rubric for FCE. So this might help you think about the band. Okay. Now for band 5, the pronunciation is intelligible, appropriate intonation, the stress is accurately placed, and individual sound articulated clearly. That's band 5. Band 3 is also intelligible, means you can understand them, and appropriate, and so on. So I would think, who amongst you give her lower than band 3? Is anybody in here give her a lower than band 3? Does anybody think she's lower than 3 or more than 3? Let's take a look. Yeah, we can safely say Miss Jatu is correct. We can safely say that she is higher than band 3. So probably not a 5. Yeah, probably not a 5, but obviously higher than 3. 4, 3, 4 to 5. Yes. Okay. I just need to remind you that for pronunciation, there is no marks for accent. Okay. So we're not marking their accent. As we know, we live in Indonesia. We have Indonesian accents. Some of our students have Indonesian accents. We can't expect everybody to speak with a perfect British accent. Yeah. So they will not lose points because they have Indonesian accent, obviously. But as long as it is intelligible, you can understand what they're saying. And if they're saying, if there's the word stress and the sentence stress is placed appropriately, then they can still get quite a high mark for pronunciation. So you should not penalize your student for having a bad accent, or it's because they can't speak in a proper British way or something. Okay. All right. So yeah, for this one, the rubrics, all of the rubrics will be in your handout. So you will have a complete set of the rubrics. You can use them any way you want. You can tweak them, you can adjust them, but the underlining thing is the same. We have to remember what level our students are, not only for the speaking, also for the writing. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. Hold on. You will get that one in your handout. Yeah. And if you still need to see more of the rubrics, you can go to this website. here. So you can go to cambridgeenglish.org. We have the complete set in there. But obviously, this will be very long, very boring, and no one wants to. I mean, if you want to apply that to your students, then you might want to change the wordings a little bit to make it simpler, because these are the handbook for teachers, obviously. So this is the Cambridge rubrics. If you also want the IELTS rubric, you can go to www.ielts.org. This is a more complex one, the academic one for IELTS level students, obviously. Okay, and I am done. We are done. Okay, I'm so relieved. Okay, hopefully I have delivered, I've given you some useful materials that you can apply in your teachings that you can do for your own assessment for writing and speaking. Okay. All right, so I'm ready for the Q&A session. Ocha, if you can take questions.
Okay. Okay, so teachers, if you have any question to Miss Felicia regarding the online assessment for speaking and writing, you can type your question in the chat box. Or if you want to speak, you can unmute yourself.
I prefer that if you can speak so we can interact person to person. Yeah. But if you're shy, or just like the some of your students, you can just type in the chat box.
Yeah, we will wait for a moment. Maybe some of the educators still typing the question.
Okay, so I would just say that hopefully you can use the rubrics and the material that I just said. For Sylvia is asking, how is the rubric presented for each student? Can you explain more about it, Miss Sylvia? I don't quite understand the question.
Okay, what I would like to ask is that how, I'm sorry. What I would like to ask is that definitely each students will have a different result. Does it mean that each of the students, it is necessary for the teacher to send the rubric for each of the students?
I should believe so, yes. I'm not sure if you some of you might already use Google Classroom. Yeah, if you are familiar with Google Classroom, there is a section about rubric there. For us, if you give assignment to the student, there is a rubric in there. So in that case, and you can send that rubric the score for individual students. So all of them will, let's say one student get 80, yeah, and then because you enter the rubric through the Google Classroom, it will be sent to the student. So each student should have a breakdown of different scores. Okay. Yeah, so if the same one will get 80 and 80, for example, but this student is higher in pronunciation, whereas this one is higher in language and vocabulary. Yeah. So if you're familiar with that, with the Google Classroom, it's done automatically, so it's easier for you to do it for that. But if not, you can but I do believe that each student should have the assessment, individual assessment, so they know what their weakness and strengths are.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Sylvia.
Okay, any other question from educators here?
So if there are no questions, I just hope that my session was particularly clear so they don't need to ask questions. Okay, there's one from Miss Yosia. How to encourage students to speak in English? I think we just need to remind them that I think they are nervous when they are asked to speak English because they are afraid to make mistakes. it's because, you know, when they make a mistake, their friends might laugh at them, or maybe the teacher will, you know, also give them bad marks for it. But I think they should be reminded often that it is okay to make mistakes. We are learning also. And I think it helps when you know, as a teacher, I think it helps when you show them that even teachers are not perfect. We make mistakes also. So we need, you know, sometimes when we do something wrong in class, we can highlight that. See, I make mistakes too. So it's okay, speak, or you can, you know, encourage them for their daily conversation. You can give them rewards like best speaker of the week or speaker of the month. But the most important thing, I think, is that they don't be ridiculed when they make a mistake. That's the most important thing. Okay, I hope that answers your questions, Yosia. Right. Okay.
Okay, I think that's because you were explaining so clear and so detailed, so that's why there is
Miss
only.
Jatu,
Okay,
Miss
we have
Jatu.
one more question from Miss Jatu. Assess speaking in remote learning or distance.
Oh, yeah. I should add that at the end of my session. You can ask them. So for pairs or individually, you can easily use Zoom. You know, you can set a time for each student. So student A, you have 10 o'clock until 10:15, one-on-one for individual session. Or you can do pairs through Zoom as well. So that's for the on-the-spot testing, like our examples videos, yeah. But for prepared tasks, like retelling stories or making presentation that they can prepare beforehand, they can simply send you a video of themselves, a video recording of it. Yeah, so it depends on what kind of tasks you're setting. If it's spontaneous, we can also use Zoom, give them different time slots. Maybe you can assign the different time slots, but if it's prepared, video should be okay. All right.
Okay, I think that would be the last question for this Q&A, Miss Felicia, because it's already the time. But don't worry, educators, if you still have any question, you can also deliver your question to the written email and WhatsApp number that will be displayed on the screen. Okay, after this, we are going to show you the email address and also the WhatsApp number. And as we heard from Miss Felicia, that she uses Cambridge assessment as the example before. So in case some of you would like to know further information about conducting Cambridge assessment for your school, you can also contact our team, as Mentari Assessment is the only authorized Platinum Center of Cambridge Assessment English in Indonesia. So again, thank you very much, Miss Felicia. Hopefully by this session.
It's been really nice.
Yeah, it was a very great session from you. Thank you very much. And also we have so many great educators and so active, yeah, Miss Felicia?
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. Nice to be talking to all of you throughout Indonesia. So nice to know that we're all in this together. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's it. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your enthusiasm, teachers. Okay.
Okay, now educators, let's have a photo session together. So please turn on the camera or video so we can show our happy faces, and my colleague will help me to lead the photo session. Hello, Mas Rido, would you please help us? Yeah.
Educators, please turn on the camera and smile to the camera. So I will photo session. Okay. I will count to 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Hold on. Yeah, change pose.
Okay, another pose.
Change pose. I'm never good at taking pictures.
1, 2, 3. Smile. Hold on. Okay, thank you, educators.
Okay, thank you very much, educators. And also thank you very much, Mas Rido, for helping us with the photo session. And the photos will be sent to the WhatsApp group. So, educators, for those who would like to have today's materials or the handout, you may download it through the link on the screen, or please also check in the chat box. Okay, I already shared the handout link. You may note the link so you can access the file after this session, and also you could rewatch today's session through maupintar.id. And in case some of you haven't filled in the attendance form, we already shared the link in the beginning of the session. And next, Mas Rido, please. Okay, now displayed on the screen is the link for attendance form. Please kindly spend 1 minute to fill it in. The link is also already in the chat box. So this is only for those who haven't filled it in the beginning of the session yet. So please fill it in right now. Educators, it's the end of today's session. Hopefully this session can provide a lot of information and ideas for the teaching development, especially in this current condition. On behalf of Mentari Group and Mentari Teachers Academy, we would like to thank you all and hope to see you all in the next event.